off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader, yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the DFS Bachelor, and we're going to go over tomorrow's 5-game NBA slate for Saturday, August 1st, rather. Will be the 1st of August tomorrow. This year has flown by. Obviously, this year will go down in the record books as one of the worst years in the history of our illustrious nation. First things first, thank you all so much for all your support. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you again. Cheers to you all. It's Coffee and Bailey's type night here on a Friday night. These games start at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, so that's why this NBA video is coming out a little bit early. I got to get with Dion. We'll try to get a WNBA video out tonight as well. Hope you all had a good day today. Rashawn Holmes, bit of a window licker, kind of burned a lot of people. But so many great plays today. Had an excellent day. So I hope you all did as well. Hopefully we can keep that rolling into tomorrow. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Get access to all of our content. I got to see what time MLB starts tomorrow morning. If they start too early, it's just not going to happen. MLB is just kind of in flux anyways. It's starting to give us all a little bit of gray hair. Rob Manfred has just done an awful job of doing that. If you're going to expand the rosters to deal with the COVID situation, a player tests positive, and you just can't, what's the point of having the expanded rosters? That player should be pulled, test everyone, make sure they don't have it, and then replace them with the players in the expanded roster instead of canceling all these games. It doesn't seem like there's a coherent plan there in place. Unfortunately, it seems to be that way with a lot of things we have going on. So baseball's up in the air, but anytime, the games start at like 8 in the morning, maybe I'll get one out tonight. I'll see what I could do. But hit subscribe down below. I really do appreciate that. Hit that like button. I really appreciate you guys all doing that. It's been really cool. Thank you again. And if you leave a comment in the comment section, like the video, subscribe to the channel, you qualify for our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. I will announce that Monday morning in Monday's NBA video. Most likely in the NBA video. There's no WNBA Monday. So Monday's NBA video is when I will announce the winner for that. Again, thank you all so much for doing that. Also, don't forget to check out Overlay DFS, overlaydfs.com. You don't have to be perfect. It's a different type of game. You just pick which player is going to score most fantasy points, and if your record's in the top 10%, you can win money. That's the one I've been making the most profit on, just because it's a little bit easier to win because you don't have to be perfect. Marcus Morris burned us all yesterday. Actually beat his brother, so he actually did good for me in Overlay DFS, so it's a little weird. Be sure to hit them up on Twitter. Ask them about their first deposit bonus as well. Also, if you want access to my player pool, all the research, my MLB player pool, all the research for that, batter versus pitcher, pitcher versus batter, etc., weighted OPS, cheat sheets, player pool, you can use it in the mass lineup optimizer, mass lineup generator, late swap optimizer, etc. You can click that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. You'll get my NHL player pool as well, MLB, NBA. All those player pools and cheat sheets will be set for every slate. So you can click that link, try it for 30 days. I'll show you how to find the watch players list at the end of the video. We'll make a sample list with my early player pool of 25 players or so. I think that's all the house cleaning, so let's just jump right into it. Ben Simmons right at the top. Now he's going to be moving to the power forward position. Shake Milton's going to start at the point guard. They're going to start Ben Simmons at the 4, Tobias Harris at the 3, Josh Richardson, Joel Embiid, who it looks like he will play. He's been battling some right calf tightness, but it looks like Embiid will play. Ben Simmons, 8K on Fanduel, 8,600 on Draftkings. Indiana 13th against opposing point guards. They still have him at point guard here on Fanduel, but and he'll still be a point forward. But they're moving him closer to the basket. It's kind of where he needs to be. Now, I just still think Philly's better when Ben Simmons has the ball in his hands and they're pushing the tempo up and down the court. There you go. That's what she said. But you could see at his price this year over here on Draft Dashboard, I love this, the hit percentage here. At that price this year, if he is at 8K all year this year, he hit value 70% of the time at that price on FanDuel, 61% of the time at that price on DraftKings. I like Ben Simmons quite a bit. Right below that, we got Chris Paul. 7-7 on FanDuel, 7-4 on DraftKings. Now, we saw Utah struggled to defend in that first game back, especially in the backcourt. Mike Conley's a good defender. These teams got to get their legs under him. Chris Paul has a nice history here against Utah. His last 5 games, nothing less than a 36. He's got a 60 in there. He hits that price on DraftKings is too cheap. He's hit value 63% of the time. Utah 18th against opposing point guards. I like Chris Paul quite a bit. I think Kyle Lowry's certainly in play. He's got 50-point upside. His last game against the Lakers, he put up a 59. Toronto's an interesting team. They've been in that bubble. They've been working out together longer than any other team because they came down from Canada. They look really, really good leading up to this restart. He's 7-4 in 8K. He's hit value 68% of the time at that price on FanDuel. I could certainly go there. It's going to be a tougher matchup for Lonzo Ball. I'll probably pass on that. Now, Jamal Murray, he's questionable for tomorrow. Denver is going to be thin no matter what. Gary Harris already ruled out. Will Barton already ruled out. And now we've got Jamal Murray nursing hamstring issue. So guys like Monty Morris and we're going to get to the other guy. I forget his name, but I'll remember it here in a moment. Are going to have to play some extra minutes. You're going to see Jeremy Grant probably start out of position. He's been doing that in the scrimmages. Jamal Murray plays. I'm probably fading Jamal Murray, even if he plays. Malcolm Brogdon, also questionable. I'm not certain he's going to play there. It's a neck injury, so we don't know if he's going to play. Victor Oladipo is playing this will I or won't I bullshit. It's like, just fucking make up your mind. You're playing in all these scrimmages. Just fucking make up your mind, Victor Oladipo. Like, enough with your bullshit. Been dealing with it all fucking year with you. So, guys like TJ McConnell, etc., they're going to have TJ McConnell, Edmund Sumner. They're going to be playing more minutes, especially if Brogdon and Oladipo are out. So that's something to watch tomorrow. You can follow me on Twitter at DFS Bachelor. As soon as I know, you guys will know. Next, Mike Conley, 5-7 on FanDuel, 5-4 on DraftKings. I think it's too cheap. He's going to play heavy minutes. Put up a nice 31 in that first game back against New Orleans. OKC 16th against point guards. I could certainly go there. The Miami backcourt situation, Kendrick Nunn will probably start. Dragic off the bench. Again, without Gary Harris, that hurts Denver's defense. So, and they're not playing in Denver. I think of all the teams in the bubble in this restart, Denver is affected the most by losing that home court advantage. They had the higher elevation. It's just a tough place to play. Again, without Gary Harris, who's one of the premier perimeter defenders in the league, I think it does open some stuff up for the backcourt for Miami. Shake Milton, we just talked about it. He's going to start at point guard. He's 4-4 on FanDuel. He's 5-6 on DraftKings. I'll pass there, but 4-4 on FanDuel, I could get down with that. Aaron Holiday, we talked about it. He could see more minutes tomorrow if, in fact, Oladipo and Brogdon are out. Patrick Beverley ended up played about 16 minutes. Reggie Jackson played a ton of minutes. You're probably going to see the minutes for Patrick Beverley ramp up a little bit. It's a paced-up game. New Orleans plays at a very fast pace. They're 4-2 and 4-1. I'll have a little bit of exposure to both. Monty Morris, we just talked about it. Probably going to have to start. His last 2 games against Miami, a 30 and a 34. So he's got some 30-point upside if he gets the minutes. I could go there. TJ McConnell, listen, it's been a few years since he did it, but he's got me a 50 way back in the day when he was playing for the Sixers against the Knicks and won me a shit ton of money. If Malcolm Brogdon misses, TJ McConnell very well could step into the starting role. He's got some upside. Philly is tough defensively in the backcourt, 3rd in the league against opposing point guards. Raul Neto looks doubtful for tomorrow, so Philly's going to be a little bit thin there as well. Let's go to shooting guard. As shooting guard, Jimmy Butler. Look, no Gary Harris, thin. No Will Barton. I like Jimmy Butler quite a bit. He's 8K on FanDuel and 7-6 on DraftKings. I think it's too cheap. Now, Denver is number 2 in the league against shooting guards, but again, no Gary Harris. That's really going to make things easier for Jimmy Butler. I think he's ready to rock and roll. A 47 and a 33 in his last 2 games against Denver. You can see his hit percentage, 60% and 67% on the 2 sites at that price. I could certainly go there. Jrue Holiday is going to have the ball in his hands a ton. He's 7-7 on FanDuel. It's going to be a much tougher defensive matchup against the Clippers. The Clippers are one of the top 5 or 6 defensive rated teams in the league, but still the upside for Jrue Holiday. Then you flip that down. My favorite shooting guard tomorrow, Paul George, 7-7 on FanDuel, 7-9 on DraftKings, and a massively paced up game against New Orleans. We see that's going to be a frantic up and down pace. 51, 48, 45, and 38 in his last 4 against New Orleans. New Orleans 23rd against opposing shooting guards. I can go there. I like all the guards for OKC against Utah. Even though Utah's 4th against shooting guards, we saw it. They just kind of struggled defensively in that first game. You're going to see turnovers. These teams are playing sloppy. SGA 7-3 and 6-8 on DraftKings. You can see he hits value 65% of the time at that price on DraftKings. A 37 and a 32 in his last 2 games against Utah. Donovan Mitchell's price should have gone up, but it did not. 7-2 on Fanduel, 6-9 on DraftKings. He hits value 65 and 71% of the time at that price. I like Donovan Mitchell quite a bit. OKC 3rd against shooting guards, but still the upside is there. He looked really good in that first game, played 35 minutes, put up a 44. You'll take that at 7-2 and 6-9. Fred VanVleet banged his knee a couple days ago in that first exhibition game, didn't play the last 2, but he's going to play. Toronto's fully healthy now. So we'll just have to see. Fred VanVleet, though, has got 45, 50-point upside at 6'4 and 6'2. I will definitely take a shot there. Schroeder off the bench, yeah, maybe. I wish that price was in the 5K range. Certainly has some upside there. He's going to see plenty of minutes off the bench. Again, we talked about fucking Victor Oladipo. Norman Powell, another guy who was putting up big numbers before the restart stopped. But remember, Toronto was kind of banged up, and so he was having to shoulder quite a bit of the load. Good for him. I'm not sure if he swallows or not. That's you can see the last 4 games before the NBA stopped: a 34, a 40, a 50, and a 49. He's sitting down here at 5-3 on FanDuel, 5-9 on DraftKings, a 42 and a 28 in his last 2 games against the Lakers. Lou Williams will not be there. I don't know why he's even showing there. He's still dealing with the ramifications of his titty bar excursion. Duncan Robinson will start. Some value guys. Jordan Clarkson, 4-5 on FanDuel, 3-9 on DraftKings. We just saw it. He just played 32 minutes. If he gets rolling offensive, now listen, he can go out there and get you a 15 if he's not making his shot. But I love that 28% usage rate. You can see that right here on DD. I love the research. It helps so much with the research. 4-5 and 3-9 is simply too cheap. There's quite a bit of value here at shooting guard. Josh Richardson, he should be back to fully healthy. He had 38 and a 31 in his last 2 games against Indiana. Now remember, he was putting up some low outputs right before the NBA stopped. That's because he was coming back from injury. He's fully healthy now. He'll see 30-plus minutes at 4-5 and 4-4. I think you got to take a shot on Josh Richardson. JJ Redick, again, scoring dependent. If he's making a shot, he can get there. He did that in the first game, put up a 27. We actually had talked about it. He's 3-5 on DraftKings. Come on. That's simply too cheap. Got to put JJ Redick in there. Torrey Craig, thank you. I'm glad. It's been bugging me this whole time. Torrey Craig is going to see some extra minutes for Denver with both Will Barton and Gary Harris out. So he's someone you could consider there as well. I guess Dion Waiters. We got to talk a little Dion Waiters. He'll be at small forward, but he looked pretty decent. He looked pretty decent in the restart. Dwight Howard looks ridiculous. He looked lost, and his hair looks ridiculous. There's probably no one who's less of a Dwight Howard fan than I am. Just so you know, I can't stand fucking Dwight Howard at all. Plain and simple. He's on my Mount Rushmore of sports douchebags with Derrick Rose and some others, but I digress. Now, LeBron's going to be in play every slate. These are 2 very, very good defensive teams. A 52 and a 42 his last 2 against Toronto. At 10-9, he's the most expensive player on the slate. I think Kawhi is a better play tomorrow. It's going to be a paced-up game against New Orleans. He's 9-5 on FanDuel, 8-9 on DraftKings. You can see its value 67% of the time. That price on DraftKings are 23rd against opposing small forwards. His last game out against New Orleans, all he did was put up a 68. Pascal Siakam, a 52 and a 40 his last 2 games against the Lakers. Again, the Lakers are another very good defensive team. Pascal Siakam is one of these emerging players turning into a star. 7-8 on FanDuel, I don't mind that. Brandon Ingram against the Clippers. This is not going to be like playing Utah. They're 11th against small forwards. He's going to see Paul George and Kawhi Leonard the whole night. Now, he's got a 42 and a 37 in his last 2, but a much, much tougher matchup against the Clippers. Tobias Harris, it's too cheap. Now, look, we know he can go out there and dud, but he's 6'6 on FanDuel. He's got 50-point upside, put up a 33 his last time out. Now, the Pacers, number 2 in the league against opposing small forwards, which is kind of surprising considering that he's getting the TJ Warren defense. But Tobias Harris, he's got the upside, especially with Joel Embiid a little bit hobbled. Could shoulder more of the offensive load. I don't mind Tobias Harris tomorrow at all. TJ Warren is real hit and miss, tournament play only. Same with Gallinari. Joe Ingles at 4.9. Saw the minutes, got a little bit of upside. Oklahoma City, very tough against small forwards, number 1 in the league. Derek Jones Jr. has been one of my favorite value guys all year, but Miami's fully healthy, and Jay Crowder is probably going to get most of the minutes. I don't hate the Derek Jones play. If they start him at the 4, if they play Bam at the 4 or Bam at the 5, Jones at the 4, Crowder at the 3, Duncan Robinson, where is it going to be? I don't think Derek Jones starts. I think I prefer Jay Crowder at 4,400. He should start. He should see 30 plus minutes. He's 4.4 on Fanduel, 4.7 on Draftkings. Some upside there. Again, no Gary Harris, no Will Barton, so things just get easier on the wing for Jay Crowder. OG Anunoby. Again, a fully healthy Toronto team. He's 4.3 on FanDuel. He's 5.7 on DraftKings. So he's a go on FanDuel. I mean, he can go out there and get you 50. We've seen it before. Shit, right before the stoppage, he'd put up a 66, and then he's also put up a 15 in a 4-game span. So you can see the wide range of outcomes there. But for tournaments, absolutely, the minutes will be there. On DraftKings, no thank you. Anyone else? I guess Dion Waiters. I mean, at that price on DK at 3.1, I could probably consider it. I don't think... I mean, that's about it. Matisse Thabuli should see some minutes. With there's some injuries there. Glenn Robinson III, etc., will not be there for Philly tomorrow, or he's doubtful. I think that's it at small forward. Justin Holiday, if both Brogdon and Victor Oladipo are out, Justin Holiday could see some extra minutes there as well. Let's go to power forward. At power forward, Anthony Davis, 10K on FanDuel, 10.4 on DraftKings. We know the story. We know how they're going to play. Anthony Davis, a 36% usage rate there. He's got a path to having huge games, of course. His last couple of games against Toronto was 60 and a 54. Again, Toronto's a good defensive team, but I'm, of course, going to have exposure to Anthony Davis. Bam Adebayo, 8.4 on FanDuel, 8.1 on DraftKings. And I will say this, some of these teams who have already played kind of shook off some of that rust. I'm going to favor that a little bit. We saw it was kind of some sloppy play, a lot of turnovers. The NBA looked pretty normal to me on TV, but I guess it's a lot different for them playing, so that's a little bit interesting. But I love Bam, love the upside. He doesn't have a great history against Denver, but again, this is a totally different monster. You see 4 of the last 5 games before the NBA stoppage, he was 40 and above, including a 51. Denver 14th against opposing power forwards. He's going to play the 5, and he's going to see a bunch of Jokic. So we'll have to see how that goes. But Bam can do a little bit of everything. Maybe the most improved player in the league this year. Heat right there with Brandon Ingram. I like Bam Adebayo quite a bit. Zion Williamson, do not play him. He's still going to be sitting at a 15 to 20 minutes limit. So makes absolutely no sense to play Zion Williamson. Get him out of your lineups. I think Al Horford's way too expensive. The only way I would pay that price is if Joel Embiid didn't play at all, and that's not the case. So Denver, they're going to be front. They're going to be thin there. Paul Millsap at 5K on FanDuel, 4.9 on DraftKings. Even though Miami's tough defensively up front, love that price for Paul Millsap. I like the minutes that Kuzma played. He's 4.7 and 4.3 on DraftKings. I could go there. Jeremy Grant, he started all 3 of Denver's scrimmage games. He's probably going to start at the 3 with Paul Millsap at the 4. He should see plenty of minutes, and we know he's got upside when he gets the minutes. The game before last that he played before the stoppage of 37, if you look at his last 4 against Miami, a 32, a 20, a 50, and a 31. I think Jeremy Grant at 4.3 on FanDuel, 4K on DraftKings is an excellent value play. Let's talk about Marcus Morris. Absolutely useless in that first game against the Lakers. But again, he's trying to defend LeBron, AD. This is a whole different animal. And let's say this. Marcus Morris is going to be much lower owned because, first of all, it's not a 2-game slate. And second of all, he shit the bed and was the window liquor of the night, no doubt about it. New Orleans, paced up game, 25th against opposing power forwards. His last 4 games against New Orleans, nothing less than a 24. His last 2 games against New Orleans, a 36 and a 40. Now, of course, that was a different situation on a different team, but I expect to see a much better Marcus Morris, a much lower owned Marcus Morris, 4.2 on FanDuel, 4.5 on DraftKings. I'm just saying for tournaments, this is a much weaker defensive team in New Orleans. Things should be a whole lot easier for Marcus Morris to hit value tomorrow. You could see some extra minutes for Michael Porter Jr. He's getting fully healthy. That could be someone down there in deep tournaments I could consider as well. Deep tournament play. Let's go to center. Center, I like a lot of the value at center. I'm not paying up for Embiid when he's unhealthy, even though he loves to eat up Miles Turner. You could see 3 straight games against him at 50 or above. Have to see how he's feeling. Maybe if you can catch a practice report in the morning or shoot around report and see how he's feeling. That calf tightness makes me nervous. He could come out there. Look, in 26 minutes in his very last game he played before the shutdown, he scored a 50 in 26 minutes. So he doesn't need a ton of minutes. Still makes me nervous. I might sprinkle him in a tournament lineup or two, but that's about it. If I'm paying up at center, it's going to be Jokic against Bam. He's 9K on both Fanduel and Draftkings. Look, without Harris and without Will Barton especially, Jokic is going to have an even higher usage rate. Struggled his last couple games against Miami, but before that, a 57, 47, 53. I think that was probably against Whiteside. How about Nurkic today? Jesus. I could not believe what I saw out of Yusuf Nurkic today. That's the one big miss for me today was Nurkic. Just didn't see it coming. I mean, Whiteside didn't do shit. We were right about that. But Nurkic coming out and putting up a 50 burger. Holy crap. Shocking. It was shocking to me. I mean, you're going to be right on some things. You're going to be wrong on some others. You're going to win some. You're going to lose some. And I did not have the Nurkic call. I'll tell you that right now. If you did, congratulations to you. Next, Rudy Gobert against OKC. He's still too cheap. 7-4 on FanDuel, 7K on DraftKings. He played 33 minutes against a paced-up team in New Orleans. I thought that was really encouraging. 37, 23, 45, 57, and 35 in his last 5. You could see against Oklahoma City, you could see at that price all year he has a 69% chance at hitting 5 times value on FanDuel and a 75% chance at hitting value on DraftKings. Rudy Gobert is simply too cheap. Montrezl Harrell will not be there tomorrow. I don't believe he's with the team. Again, we'll find that out before tip, but I'm 99% sure I'm right about that. We got Steven Adams, 6K on FanDuel, 5-3 on DraftKings. Come on. That's too cheap. He actually plays pretty well against Rudy Gobert. You can see in his last 5, he does have a 20, which you're not looking for, but he's also got a 48, a 43, a 31, a 29 at 5-3 on DraftKings. Yeah, I like Steven Adams quite a bit. Utah 16th against opposing centers. Derek Favors. Now, he's got a nice look. The Clippers are going to be weak up front, especially without Harrell there. Joakim Noah does add a little bit of defense off the bench, but Derek Favors looked pretty damn lazy on the court. It's 5-1 and 5K. I will say his last 3 against the Clippers, 43, a 50, and a 39. There's a nice history there. That's where I'm at. I like Marc Gasol a whole lot better. I don't know if you guys have seen the reports or seen the pictures, but Marc Gasol lost a ton of weight. He got in really good shape. He's 4-4 on FanDuel and 4-5 on DraftKings. Fully healthy, should get a full run against McGee and Dwight Howard. Besides that last outing against the Lakers, where only put up a 10, he was playing limited minutes coming back from injury. A 33, a 42, a 28, and a 33. I think Marc Gasol is way, way, way too cheap. Bull Bold could see a few minutes. They're talking about that in Denver. Again, that's deep GPP sleeper. If you want to do a little bit of JaMale McGee or Zubats, I suppose, but the price for Marc Gasol just doesn't make any sense for me to go there. So that's how I look right now, early look at each position. Again, you can get access to this tool, my player pool, the stats, the lineup optimizer, etc. You click that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard 30 days for $1. When you do, how you find my player pool. If you want to compare it to yours, you want to use my player pool in the lineup optimizer, etc. You simply click on your watched players button. You can either go from this menu up here if you don't see this on your screen, or you can click it right here, click on your watch players tab. Then if you use that link, you'll see a blue box at the top that says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks. And this is the same for NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. My player pool is set every day. Even if I don't get a baseball video out, I always have my player pool and cheat sheet set. Then you click that blue box that says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks. It'll highlight my watch players. And it'll also show you when I've last updated it so you know how current my player pool is, if I've had a chance to get there and update it, etc. So all that is important to know. Then you can just take them to the lineup optimizer. If you want to use the mass lineup generator, the late swap optimizer, let's say someone's a late scratch, and you can upload your lineups from FanDuel and DraftKings, import them in here, re-optimize, and load them back in. There's a tutorial on here how to do that as well. If you're playing cash games, there's a cash game optimizer based on projected ownerships, etc. So again, this is just a sample very early on. I mean, it's 9 o'clock on a Friday night. These games start in about, 13 hours. So we got Chris Paul, Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Jrue Holiday, Siakam, Tobias Harris, Marcus Morris, Bam Adebayo, Marc Gasol. think that's real solid, and it's kind of contrarian without having, it doesn't have Ben Simmons, it doesn't have LeBron or Anthony Davis. Now, I like Ben Simmons. I'm going to you can put Ben Simmons in right here and use all your salary, but just remember, if you do that, you have a much better chance at getting a tie if you use all of your salary. But I think that's really solid. Or if you're like, oh, that might be a little bit too much for Tobias Harris, which I would disagree with. You could come down here to Crowder, go down to lots of ways you can go. Click the drop down arrows, but I think that's pretty solid for right now. Let's go to DraftKings again, guys. I'm just kind of showing you how to use it. That's what she said. So over here on DraftKings, Monty Morris could see a lot of run. I like that value play at 3.5. Jordan Clarkson, 3.9. Harris, Millsap, Anthony Davis, Chris Paul, another Marcus Morris, and Jrue Holiday. Look, if you're like, look, I cannot do the Marcus Morris thing ever again, totally understand. How about Jeremy Grant or Josh Richardson right here at 4.4? Sign me the fuck up for that. I think that's a really solid lineup too. Again, click the link, try it for 30 days for $1. My player pool will be a little bit more extensive as the time goes on. It's kind of an early look. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Be part of our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. Cheers to you all. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe, and healthy Friday night. For all you guys out there in South Florida, hope the hurricane leaves you guys alone. It doesn't look like a huge hurricane, a Category 1 right now, but I hope you guys are all safe. Thank you all so much for your support. May the fantasy gods be with you all tomorrow, and goodbye, folks.